chemosynthesis. It is expressed in term of weight G2 or energy K-com equals to. The various components of the ecosystem constitute an interacting system. They are connected by energy. Nutrients Ecology 88 Let's Talk publication. And minerals. The nutrients and minerals circulate and recirculate between the abiotic and biotic factors of the ecosystem again and again. The continuous survival of the ecosystem depends on the flow of energy and the circulation of nutrients and minerals in the ecosystem. Thus the dynamics functions of the ecosystem includes the following. I. Energy. E. Primary production. E. Secondary production. IV. Food chain. B. Food web. B. Trophic levels. B. Energy flow. B. Ecological pyramids. X. Nutrient cycles. 4.6.1. Energy. Energy is the ability to do work. The flow of energy is unidirectional in the ecosystem. The main source of energy for an ecosystem is the light energy derived from the sun. The amount of solar radiation reaching the surface of the Earth is 2 cals per square centimeter per minute. It is more or less constant and is called solar constant or solar flux. About 95 to 99% of the energy is lost by reflection. Plants utilize only 0.02% of the energy reaching Earth. The light energy is converted into chemical energy in the form of sugar by photosynthesis. 6H, 0 plus 6 company, plus light C cent H, O4 plus 6 company. The synthesized sugar is utilized for many purposes. It can be converted into starch and stored. It combines with other sugars to form cellulose. It combines with inorganic substances N, P, S to form amino acids, protein, nucleic acids, pigments, hormones. Some amount of sugar is oxidized during respiration and the energy is released to do various functions. J1, O6 plus 60, 6CO, plus 6H, 0 plus energy. 4.6.2. Primary production. The rate of biomass production is called productivity. Primary production is synthesis of organic compounds from the atmospheric or any other inorganic raw material C, E. The amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a period of time by plants through photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. It is expressed in term of weight G2 or energy K-com equals to. The organism carrying the production of biomass are called as primary producers or autotrophs. 4.6.2.1. Gross primary production GPP. Gross primary production is the amount of chemical energy formed by primary producers, autotrophs, in the form of biomass in a given time. It is the total amount of fixed energy, organic food, in an ecosystem, in producers, in unit time. Gross primary production includes the organic matter used up in respiration. It is also known as total gross photosynthesis. The rate of accumulation of biomass is measured by gross primary production. 4.6.2.2. Net primary productive NIPTPY. Net primary production is the rate at which all the plants in an ecosystem produce net useful chemical energy or organic matter. It is equal to the difference between the rate at which the primary production is synthesis of organic compounds from the atmospheric or any other inorganic raw material C, E. The amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a period of time by plants through photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. It is expressed in term of weight G2 or energy K-com equals to. The organism carrying the production of biomass are called as primary producers or autotrophs. 4.6.2.1. Gross primary production GPP. Gross primary production is the amount of chemical energy formed by primary producers, autotrophs, in the form of biomass in a given time. It is the total amount of fixed energy, organic food, in an ecosystem, in producers, in unit time. Gross primary production includes the organic matter used up in respiration. It is also known as total gross photosynthesis. The rate of accumulation of biomass is measured by gross primary production. 4.6.2.2. Net primary productive NIPTPY. Net primary production is the rate at which all the plants in an ecosystem produce net useful chemical energy or organic matter. It is equal to the difference between the rate at which the plants in an ecosystem produce useful chemical energy, GPP, and the rate at which they use some of that energy during respiration. Some net primary production transferred to next trophic level. Rest of it is used A for growth and reproduction by primary producers. Net primary production NPP is the amount of energy remaining after the cellular and maintenance respiration out of total energy produced in a given time period. NPP is the available biomass for the consumption of heterotroph. NPP equals GPP respiration by autotrophs. Or GPP equals NPP plus R. After the respiration is the amount of stored organic matter in plant tissues. The unit of measurement of primary production is mass per unit area per unit time interval but in terrestrial ecosystems, mass of carbon per unit area per year GCM equals 2 years. Is most often used as the unit. The significant limiting factors of primary production are carbon dioxide, light, temperature, water and oxygen. 4.6.2.3. Measurement of primary production. Primary production refers to the amount and the rate of energy produced by autotrophs. There are many methods to measure the primary production NH. Why are the following? A harvest method. In this method the plants are grown on a particular area, are harvested at ground level and their weight is taken. They are dried and again weighed. This is done at regular intervals. The primary production is Let's Talk publication 89 Ecology. B. C. 4.6.3. 4.6.3.1. Expressed in terms of biomass or mass per unit area per unit time. Carbon dioxide assimilation method. Plants utilize carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So the rate of photosynthesis can be calculated by calculating the amount of carbon dioxide utilized by plants per unit time. The incorporation of carbon dioxide in photosynthesis can be determined by using infrared gas analyzer. With the help of this analyzer, it is possible to measure the amount of carbon dioxide entering or leaving an airtight chamber of known volume. Oxygen production method. This method is used to measure primary production in aquatic ecosystem. In this method, the amount of oxygen produced per unit time is taken as an index to measure the rate of photosynthesis. For this, light and dark bottle technique is used. Samples of water containing the autotrophs are collected in a light bottle, transparent bottle, Ondine a dark bottle. The light bottle allows light to enter in the same depth from which the sample is collected. After a certain period of time, the amount of oxygen present in the two bottles is calculated by titration using sodium thiosulfate by a method. This method is known as Winkler's method. Light bottle. In the light bottle there is photosynthesis and respiration both takes place. So NPP equals GPPR, dark bottle. In the dark bottle there is no photosynthesis and only respiration. E.g. the rate of photosynthesis is calculated by calculating the amount of oxygen present in the two bottles. Initial bottle equals 12 mgO0, L, light bottle equals 15 mgO0, L, dark bottle equals 4 mgO0, L. The oxygen increased in the light bottle compared to the initial due to photosynthesis, and the oxygen decreased in the dark bottle due to respiration. With this information we can calculate the respiration, net primary productivity NPP, and gross primary productivity GPP per hour system. Light initial equals 15 to 12 equals 3 mg per liter per hour equals GPPR equals NPP. Initial dark equals 12.4 equals 8 mg per liter per hour. Initial dark equals 12.4 equals 8 mg per liter per hour equals respiration. Light dark equals 15 to 4 equals 11 mg per liter per hour equals NPP plus R equals GPP. Thus we have a measure of the net and gross primary production as well as the respiration of our system. Radioisotope method. This method is similar to the oxygen-producing method. In this method a known quantity of C4 is introduced into the light and dark bottles along with the sample, and the bottles are suspended for 6 hours. During this period the C is incorporated into the protoplasm of the autotrophs. The autotrophs are filtered and dried. After drying the radioactivity is measured. The amount of radioactivity is proportionate to the amount of carbohydrate produced. Secondary production. Secondary productivity is the rate of formation of new organic matter by consumers. Secondary productivity by herbivores is invariably less than the plants on which they feed. The missing energy at this level is lost in the form of respiration and heat because the total mass of producers is not consumed then assimilated into consumer biomass. The annual net primary productivity of the whole biosphere is approximately 170 billion tons, dry. The annual net primary productivity of the whole biosphere is approximately 170 billion tons, dry weight of the organic matter. Productivity of the ocean are only 55 billion tons. B. In Brunetare, maximum productivity is found in tropical rainforest. C. An aquatic ecosystem, least productivity is found in very deep lakes while coral reefs productivity is maximum. D. Nitrogenous telemiting factor in ocean and phosphorus is the limiting factor in lake productivity. E. Inland, highest productivity noticed in tropical rainforest, 5 kg ms³ per year. While lowest productivity is noticed in desert and tundra. F. Most productive agro-ecosystem is sugarcane and rice ecosystem, 3 to 4 kg ms³ per year. G. Although ocean cover about 2/3 of the Earth's surface, they account for less than half of its production. H. Tropical rainforests tend to be much more productive than other terrestrial ecosystems. I. Temperate forests, tropical savanna, cropland and boreal forests all are exhibiting middle levels of primary productivity. Consumption efficiency, CE. Consumption efficiency is the efficiency with which the energy of a trophic level is consumed and transferred to the next trophic level. The energy consumed through the photosynthesis and respiration in the producers and consumers respectively. Ecology 90 Let's Talk publication. 4.6.3.2 4.6.3.3 4.6.3.4 4.6.3.5 4.6.3.6 4.6.4 In X100 PN1 Where Ani's ingestion and PNI's production. Ecology 92 Let's Talk publication. Grazing and detritus food chains. The two main food chains cannot operate independently. They are interconnected at various levels. According to Wilson and Bossert, 1971, the stability of the ecosystem is directly proportional to the number of the links between these various food chains. The detritus feeders obtain energy from the dead bodies of animals and plants which are components of the grazing food chain. Again, some of the detritus feeders are eaten by the consumers of the grazing food chain. For example, in a pond ecosystem, earthworms belonging to the detritus food chain are eaten by fishes belonging to the grazing food chain. Food chain. I. Grazing food chain, detritus food chain. Predator chain, parasitic chain. Figure. Types of food chain. 4.6.5. Food. An ecosystem, the various food chains are interconnected with each other to form a network called food web, i.e. the interlocking of many food chains is called food web. Simple food chains are very rare in nature. This is because each organism may obtain food from more than one trophic level. In other words, one organism forms food for more than one organisms of the higher trophic level. Examples. In a grassland ecosystem, grass is eaten by grasshopper, rabbit and mouse. Grasshopper is eaten by lizard which is eaten by hawk. Rabbit is eaten by hawk. Mouse is eaten by snake which is eaten by hawk. In addition, hawk also directly eats grasshopper and mouse. Thus there are 5 linear food chains which are interconnected to form a food web. 1. Grass grasshopper lizard hawk. 2. Grass mouse hawk. 3. Grass rabbit lion. 4. Grass mouse snake, vulture. 5. Grass insect frog. This is a very simple food web, but in any ecosystem the food web is more complex. For example, in the grassland itself, in addition to hawk, there are many other carnivores such as vulture, crow, fox, man, etc. Significance of food web. Food webs are very important in maintaining the stability of an ecosystem. For example, the overgrowth of grasses is controlled by the herbivores. When one type of herbivores increase in number and control the vegetation. Similarly, when herbivorous animal becomes extinct, the carnivore predating on this type may eat another type of herbivore and herbivorous animal's number is controlled or balanced by carnivores. Thus food web is S&FI or at LH equilibrium of all trophic levels in the ecosystem. Let's Talk publication 93 Ecology. 4.6.6. 4.6.7. M0 Consumer. Percent Consumer. 4. V. Prod CER. IGS 0, OEBS, ILAR. Decomposers. Figure. Food web in a grassland ecosystem, different trophic levels. Trophic levels. Each food chain contains many steps like producers, herbivores, primary carnivores and so on. Each step of a food chain is called trophic level. The number of trophic levels in a food chain is restricted to 5 or 6. Green plants make first trophic level. Producers, trees, plants, grass. C, or T, herbivorous, cow, grasshopper, zooplankton. C, or T, primary carnivorous, dog, frog, lizard. C, or T, secondary carnivorous, hawk, fox, snake. C, or T's, tertiary carnivorous or top carnivorous, tiger, lion, man. Phytoplankton, zooplankton, fishes, snakes. Trophic level 1, trophic level 2, trophic level 3, trophic level 4. Energy flow. The transfer of energy from one trophic level to another trophic level is called energy flow. The flow of energy in an ecosystem is unidirectional. Thus energy can be used only once in the ecosystem, but the minerals circulate and recirculate many times in the ecosystem. A large amount of energy is lost at each trophic level. It is estimated that 90% of the energy is lost when it is transferred from one trophic level to another. Thus the amount of energy available decreases from step to step. Only about 10% of the biomass is transferred from one trophic level to the next, known as a food chain. And only about 10% chemical energy is retained at each trophic level. Ecology 94 Let's Talk publication. I. Tertiary consumers 50 kilocalories. Eagle F. Secondary consumers 500 kilocalories. Snake PI. 4,000 kilocalories. Light. Rabbit primary consumers 1,500 kilocalories. Energy. From 90% energy is lost. Sun and heat form. Figure. Energy flow in trophic levels. This is called 10% law of Lindemann, 1942. When the food chain is short, the final consumers may get a large amount of energy. But when the food chain is long, the final consumer may get a lesser amount of energy. As shown in the figure, about 4,000 kcal of light falls on the green plants. Of this, approximately 50%, 2,000 kcal, is absorbed. Of the 50%, only 1%, 20 kcal, is converted at the first trophic level. Thus the net primary production is merely 15 kcal. Secondary productivity P, and P3 is 10%, 2.0 kcal and 1.5 kcal, at the herbivores and carnivores level. Energy flow is the key function of ecosystem. The storage and expenditure of energy in ecosystem is based on the two basic laws of thermodynamics. A first law of thermodynamics: energy is neither created nor destroyed but only transformed from one form to another form. B. The law of entropy: the transfer of food energy from one to another organisms leads to loss of energy as heat due to metabolic activity. C. Thermodynamics is useful to examine the relationship between incident energy in food is in concentrated form, heat energy is highly dispersed. It must be understood that all changes in energy forms can be accounted for energy flow in any system. In the ecosystem, energy used almost but the mineral circulation and recirculation many times. According to 10% law of Lindemann, 90% of the energy is lost when it is transferred from one trophic level to another, and remaining 10% of biomass is transferred from one trophic level to next trophic level, and only 10% chemical energy is retained at each trophic level. In a short food chain, the top consumer get a large amount of energy, and in a long food chain, the top consumer are at a lesser amount of energy. Primary. E equals 2 greater than carnivores. 10% i.e. 1000 units of energy. 90% loss, 90% loss, 90% loss, 90% loss. Figure. Energy flow in various trophic levels. Let's talk publication 95 Ecology. E. 4.6.8. 4.6.8.1. It is useful to examine the relationship between incident radiant energy and the energy captured by the producers. Only the visible light, or the photosynthetically active radiation PAR, which carries about 50% of the energy of total incident solar radiation, is available to producers for absorption. Ecological periods. The graphical representation of ecological parameters like biomass, number and energy of organism at different successive trophic levels and trophic structure in ecosystem is called pyramids. When an ecosystem has a pyramid where the apex is pointed upwards, called upright pyramid. Whereas in some ecosystems the number and the biomass of the producers are less and those of consumers are more. This type of ecosystem characterized by a pyramid where the apex is directed downwards and is called as inverted pyramid. Pyramid was formed by Carus Elton, so he called it Eltonian pyramids. The three general classes of such pyramids are pyramids of number. The number of individual organism in various trophic level is shown according to decreasing or increasing order in this type of pyramid. These pyramids can be upright or reverse, but mostly upright, because number of producers T is maximum and number of herbivores and carnivores decrease up to higher trophic levels, such as grassland ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. In a food chain, the number of individual decrease from producer to consumer level. As in an ecosystem, the number of producers is far high. The number of herbivores is lesser in number than the producers. Similarly, the number of carnivores is lesser than the herbivores. A cropland ecosystem. In croplands, the crops are more in numbers. The herbivore, i.e. grasshoppers feeding on crop plants, are lesser in number. The primary carnivore, frogs feeding on grasshopper, are still lesser in number. The snakes feeding on frogs are fewer in number and hence. Grasshopper frogs lie in B grassland ecosystem. In a grassland, the grasses are there in large numbers. The consumers decrease in the following order. I. Grass, grasshopper, lizard, snake. I. Grass, rabbit, fox, future. C. And ecosystem. In a pond, the producers phytoplanktons are also in a great number, and then zooplanktons feed on it, are lesser, and all organisms decrease towards top consumer. Phytoplankton, zooplankton, fishes, snakes. Large carnivorous fishes. Secondary consumers, quaternary. Consumers. Carnivores. Herbivorous. Fishes. Primary. Consumers, secondary. Consumers. Carnivores. Tertiary. Consumers, carnivores. Primary diatoms and phytoplanktons producers co-FLSL. LMERS producers green plants, herbivores. Figure. Pyramid of numbers in a pond. Figure. Pyramid of numbers in a cropland. 4.6.8.2. Pyramids of biomass. These pyramids show the decrease of biomass from base to apex. Since the total biomass of producers ingested by the herbivores is greater than the herbivores, and the carnivores of a succeeding trophic level are also having low biomass than the herbivores eaten by them. Pyramids of biomass represent the total amount. Ecology 96 Let's Talk publication. Biomass at each trophic level of ecosystem. Mostly these pyramids are also upright, erect, e.g., tree ecosystem. In a grassland, the biomass of grasses is the maximum, and at every trophic level, it gradually decreases towards the top consumer level in the following order. Grass, grasshopper, lizard, hawk. Tertiary consumers. Carnivores. Secondary consumers, carnivores. Primary consumers, herbivores. Producers, green plants. Inorganic world. Figure. Upright pyramids of biomass in a grassland ecosystem. B. In a forest. In a forest, the biomass or trees are the maximum in number, and the biomass of the top which are consumer exist on trees is minimum. The decrease in weight occurs in the following order. Plants, deer, fox, tiger. Plants, rabbit, fox, lion. 4.6.8.3. Pyramids of energy. Pyramid of energy shows the energy flow in an ecosystem from the producer level to the consumer level. At each trophic level, 80 to 90% of energy is lost. In form of heat, the amount of energy decreases from the producer level to the consumer level, and lowest energy is transferred to top level. It is unit rational only. In a grassland, green plants trap the maximum light energy. The energy gradually decreases toward the DS top consumer level. The energy flow in an ecosystem also follow the second law of thermodynamics. According to it, energy loses when it is transferred from one state to other and one level to other. Grass, grasshopper, lizard, frog. Grass, mouse, snake, vulture. B. In a pond, maximum energy is trapped by the phytoplankton, and of course they are small in size but large in number. So the amount of energy decreases towards the top, consumer level. Phytoplankton, fish, snake, eagle, phytoplankton, zooplankton, small fish, tilde, whalefish. The energy pyramids are always upright without any exception, because there is always a loss of energy at each trophic level. 4.6.8.4. Inverted pyramids. There are many ecosystems where the number and biomass of producers are more and number of consumers are less, for its stability. One type of ecosystem characterized by a pyramid where the apex is directed downwards and is called as inverted pyramid. Inverted pyramid occurs for number and biomass. The pyramid of energy is always upright. Let's talk publication 97 Ecology. A. Inverted pyramid of numbers. Pyramid of numbers in a tree ecosystem is inverted. It is also called parasitic ecosystem. Because herbivores live on the tree producer and parasites consumer, like bugs, lice live on birds, and here with increase in the number of trophic levels, the number of the organisms increase sequentially, unlike other ecosystem. Consumers. Herbivores. Producer. Figure, inverted pyramid of numbers in a tree parasitic ecosystem. B. Inverted pyramid of biomass. When carnivore the biomass of producers is lessen. Consumers are more the pyramid will have inverted shape. For example, the biodiatoms and phytoplankton are negligible as compared to crustaceans and small fishes in lake or pond ecosystem. Herbivores. Producers. Figure, inverted pyramid of biomass in a pond ecosystem. Ecology 98 Let's Talk publication. 4.6.9. Mineral Nutrient BioGeoChemCIYCCLSL. The bio component includes the living organism. The geo component includes the rock, soil, water. The chemical component includes the material or nutrients. The following types of nutrient cycles are found in an ecosystem: I. Gaseous cycle, C. H. N. O cycle. E. Sedimentary cycle, P. S. K cycles. For the cyclic movement or flow of these mineral earth crust-like sediment of sea or water bodies work as a reservoir. It contain bulk amount in the form of an active inorganic material. The absolute amounts of nutrient moving in and out in acyclic form is known as nutrient cycles. X. The plant uptake the nutrient from soil through absorption and the absorbed nutrients are metabolically incorporated in plants during growth. And hence nutrients are recycled, i.e., brought back to soil through litter fall from vegetation, animal remains and fecal matter, etc. Decomposition also regenerate the nutrients in soil. When the uptake of nutrient exceeds the amount recycled, e.g., as in the case of a young growing forest, a fraction of the uptake is retained in a standing crop. The retention of balanced nutrients in the standing crop leads to increase in nutrients content of the ecosystem. I. Gaseous cycles. 4.6.9.1. Carbon cycle. Rocks of carbonates are the main source of carbon in atmosphere and in hydrosphere. Carbon is present in lithosphere in the form of coal and petroleum. The carbon released from them is present in the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide, CO. The autotrophs can utilize Colorado from the air to synthesize food materials which is obtained by other organisms as food. Herbivores supply the organic food to carnivore, and after the oxidation or respiration of these organic matter, Colorado is produced, which then dissolve in air or water again and again by plants in air or water and again utilized by the plants. Herbivores supply the organic food to carnivore, and after the oxidation or respiration of these organic matter, Colorado is produced, which then dissolve in air or water again and again by plants in air or water and again utilized by the plants. Dissolved in rain, foil. Carried to sea, tilde. Carbon dioxide. In atmosphere. Respiration, photosynthesis, carbon in. _ green plants, absorption by weathering, conchact-Petian organiscules. Carbon in marine. Combustion, animals and plants. Death, excretion and death. Burial in. Decomposition in rock sequence. Burial and rock formation. Burial and rock formation. Figure, the carbon cycle. Flow of carbon into the biotic system. Carbon flows into biotic system through photosynthesis and many other processes. In photosynthesis process, the green plants uptake Colorado and incorporate into glucose. The glucose is converted into other type of macromolecules like other carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. These organic compounds are stored up in the plant tissues. When the primary consumer eat these producer, the carbon flows into the body of herbivorous animals through food chain or food web. When these herbivores are eaten by Let's Talk publication 99 Ecology. 4.6.9.2. 1. 2. Carnivores are secondary consumer. The carbon enters in the body of carnivorous animals. By the food chain or food web, the carbon cycle is operated among populations of the biotic community. The producer of aquatic biotic community uptake the dissolved Colorado of water. The remaining way of transfer is just like the terrestrial. The shell by marine animals like protozoans, corals, mollusks, algae, etc., are also one of the way to fix the CO. These organisms use Colorado for the construction of shell. These animals then convert the CO into calcium carbonate (CaCO) and construct their shells as follows: CO plus H, 0, H, CO, carbonic acid. H, CO, H asterisk plus HCO, bicarbonate. HCO plus Ca, H plus CaCO, calcium carbonate. B. Flow of carbon into the abiotic system from biotic community. There are 5 ways of carbon flow from biotic to abiotic system. I. Respiration. Plants and animals release Colorado by respiration. The CO is produced due to biological oxidation of macromolecules. E. Decomposition. When plants and animals die, the dead bodies are decomposed into Colorado by decomposers like bacteria, algae, etc. E. Shells. After the death of marine animals, CaCO, stored in the shells is either deposited as sedimentary rocks or dissolved in water to release Colorado by the reversion of the above all reactions. IV. Coal. As plants are converted into coal after combustion, carbon from coal returns to air in the form of CO through combustion and weathering. V. Forest fire. In the forest fire, Colorado is produced after combustion of wood and release into air. Nitrogen cycle. It is a gaseous cycle. The main source of nitrogen is air, which contains 79% nitrogen. N. Plants does not use the environmental nitrogen directly. They take it in the form of ammonium salts, nitrites and nitrates. Ammonium salts, nitrites and nitrates are formed by the process of nitrogen fixation of environmental N by the plants. After this process, it is followed by various steps. So, N cycle includes major steps. 1. Nitrogen fixation. 2. Nitrification. 3. Assimilation. 4. Ammonification. 5. Denitrification. Nitrogen is present in atmosphere, 78%, is a reservoir, and it is present in rocks and sediments. Nitrogen is an important component of amino acids, nucleic acids and ATP. Nitrogen fixation. It is an anaerobic without oxygen process in which atmospheric nitrogen is reduced to NH. Some bacteria do this job. These bacteria are known as nitrogen-fixing bacteria, e.g. legumes and symbiotic bacteria of Rhizobium species do this process. These bacteria are present in legumes' root nodules. These organisms convert the nitrogen to ammonia with the soil, which can be taken by plants. Same process occurs in the aquatic ecosystem where the cyanobacteria converts the nitrogen into ammonia. Another example of nitrogen fixation or symbiosis occurs between a number of woody plant species in the diazotrophic Actinomycete frankia. The plant gives energy materials to the diazotrophs, which in turn reduce atmospheric nitrogen N to ammonia NH. This ammonia is transferred from the bacteria to the plant for nutrition purpose. Rhizobium_NH, less than 4N, greater than plants. Nitrification. After N has been fixed, some other bacteria convert it into nitrate. This process is known as nitrification. Bacteria like Nitrosomonas, Nitrococcus and Nitrobacter participate in this process. This process occurs in 2 steps. In the first step, Nitrosomonas convert ammonia into nitrite. In the second step, Nitrobacter converts nitrite into nitrate. Ecology 100. Let's talk publication. N. Nitrosomonas NQ nitrite no, Nitrobacter, NQ equals NJT rate. Many bacteria are present in the soil, they also help in this process. 3. Assimilation. The nitrate is consumed by the plant. When animals eat the plants, nitrogen is assimilated by them. Also. 4. Ammonification. Through the excretion of animals and through the decomposition of plants, NH, ammonia again excreted in the environment. This process is called as ammonification. Assimilation. NO, no. Ni, try. Te, NO, 3 section, animals, herbivores. Plants. V. Decomposition waste feces S. NH4, ammonia. Or ammonification. Figure, assimilation of nitrite and ammonification process. Nitrification, nitrate, which is consumed by plants, is again broken down in the form of nitrogen N by some organisms or denitrifying bacteria. Then this N is released in environment or atmosphere again, so the denitrification includes the reduction of nitrates to gaseous nitrogen. Denitrifying bacteria performs exactly vice versa of nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Denitrifying bacteria equals N, gas. $, asterisk. Plant. Plant and animal, dead organisms, proteins and feces. Let's talk publication 101 Ecology. 4.6.9.3. The phosphorus sedimentary cycle. The cycling of phosphorus between biotic and abiotic environment is termed as phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus is the constituent of DNA, RNA, AMP, ADP, ATP, GTP, NADP, phospholipids, plasma membrane, protoplasm, bones, teeth and food, etc. The main source of phosphorus is rocks or weathering of rock. P cycle is the slowest and non-gaseous cycle. By the weathering of rocks, phosphorus is released in seawater or in the soil. In sea it gets available for sea plants or seaweeds, which pass into fish and seabirds. If it passes in the soil, then it passes to herbivores and then carnivores, and then it is found in the feces of these animals and birds. The excretory material of birds is rich in phosphorus and it is termed as guano. Guano or feces is again released in the soil. In the soil, plant absorbs the phosphate in the form of orthophosphate. Primary minerals dissoludio and secondary, compounds prect pltat ion. FEP, MNP. Figure, the phosphorus cycle. 4.6.9.4. Sulfur cycle. Cycling of sulfur between biotic and abiotic systems is called sulfur cycle. It is also a sedimentary cycle. Sulfur is an important element for proteins, lipids and many cofactors. It is released by volcanoes, sea reservoirs, rocks weathering, and sediments of ocean in the environment. Sulfur cycle is followed by the mineralization of organic sulfur, the oxidation of sulfides and reduction of sulfates with incorporation of sulfur into organic molecules. Sulfur is released by E. coli bacteria also. It is involved in metal deposition and fossil fuel production. Incomplete combustion also causes sulfur dioxide, SO, release. From the rock weathering or sea it is transferred to plants. It again passes to herbivores and carnivores and then again it is released in soil or water through the excretory material. Bacteria oxidize H, S of air to sulfate. H, S plus 0, greater than 50_4 plus 2H. This sulfur is used by plants. Iron is present on rocks. Sulfur, which is excreted in the soils or sea, combines with Fe plus S, Fe's after it. Sulfur is no longer available in free form as it remains in the form of Fe's only. It is available in the case of over-human interference or natural disasters. Ecology 102 Let's Talk publication. Aerobic conditions Beglatoa L-cal-sulf acid deposition Q Theobacillus emmental sulfur. CES Beglatoa. EO. Burning of microbial oxidation Theobacillus fossil fuels reduction by desulfovibric. Assimilation by plants and bacteria. Purple and green phototrophic bacteria Purple and green phototrophic bacteria. Anaerobic conditions. Mostly soil and sediments elemental sulfur. Figure, the sulfur cycle. 4.6.9.5. Water cycle. Sea is the main source of water. Water is the most important component of living organisms. It is evaporated from water bodies ponds, oceans, lakes, rivers, plants, human etc. It reaches the atmosphere. In atmosphere it forms clouds. Clouds are made by the condensation of water vapor, moist, fog and ice at high altitudes. After it, rain comes again on Earth and the cycle again goes on like this continuously. Formation of clouds. Degree O vaporization. O. Water bodies. Figure, water cycle. 4.7. Greenhouse effect. Generally because of the low in the environment the carbon dioxide is not considered as pollutant, but its higher concentration forms a thick layer above the Earth's surface, and doesn't allow the radiations of sunlight go back from the Earth's surface. This results into increase in temperature of the Earth's surface. That means just like in the greenhouse the CO is forming a layer around the Earth's surface. This effect is called greenhouse effect. The increase of the Earth temperature because of the greenhouse effect is known as global warming. CO, CH, CFC, and O are the main greenhouse gases. These are termed as relation active gases also so, NO and O are not greenhouse gases. Let's Talk publication 103 Ecology. N. O. S. W. N. E. Outgoing infrared. Radiation solar radiation reflected A. Incoming solar radiation 0.2 to 4 Infrared radiation absorbed by greenhouse gases. Atmosphere. Infrared radiation emitted by Earth's surface 4 to 100 figure, greenhouse effect. Effects of greenhouse gases. Rising temperature melting of glaciers. Floods and rivers rise in sea level. Changes in cycle of rain global warming. CO, fixation increased rate of photosynthesis due to increased Colorado, concentration. N, O 6%. Fig, relative contribution of different greenhouse gases. Control of global warming. Alternative source are green and renewable source of energy like wind and solar energy those not have emission of greenhouse gases. Large-scale afforestation should be done for photosynthetic utilization of This layer Ecology 104 Let's Talk publication. 4.8. Protect the Earth from ultraviolet rays that is harmful for all living organisms and sometimes causes cancer. But nowadays, this thick layer of ozone is becoming thinner and causing the radiations allowed to come on Earth. The reason of the decreasing thickness of ozone layer is the freon gas and CFC gas released by the refrigerators. The use of plastic and aerosol also causes the release of filling agents. These agents react from the O present in the environment or break down the O. So due to this reason, O does not remain free to make that protective ozone layer. O breakdowns in O and oxygen free radicals. These free radicals then starts a chain and inhibit the formation of ozone layer. If thickness of ozone layer decreases from a particular area, it is called as ozone hole. A ozone hole has been seen in Antarctica. 0, 0, plus oxygen free radical. 0, plus 0 greater than 0, plus 20. Acid rain. As the pollutants are raised in the environment has to bear the suffer of acid rain. Rain in which water has low pH is termed as acidic rain. As the population increases, the vehicles are used more in frequency or percentages compared to last decade. Oxygen 0, and nitrous oxides are released from vehicles and sulfur oxides are released from chemical factories in the environment. These nitrous oxides in O and sulfur oxides are changed in nitric and carbonic acids and sulfuric acids respectively. Acids combine with water and oxidants, which are already present in environment, and they all make an acid precipitation form in the environment when sun rays and water comes from the clouds in the form of rain. It becomes acidic before it drops to the earth. Acid rain does not only affect on living organism but also affects on materials, building soil, etc. It attacks building materials especially like sandstone, limestone, marble, steel and nickel. In plants, it causes chlorosis. Chlorosis causes yellowing the leaves of plants, which becomes an obstacle in the chlorophyll formation. Apart this, acid rain affects the water animals and forests also by increasing the acidity of water bodies and soil too. So, acid rain disturbs the aquatic ecosystem, as well as the forest and sand ecosystem. Why? Greater than water plus oxidants. Nitric and carbonic acid sulfuric acids acid precipitation. 0, plus nitrous oxides sulfur oxides BACL rain. Vehicles. Plants. Chemical factories $S section I section. Figure. Figure, acid rain. Biochemical oxygen demand B.0, D. Bacteria use the oxygen which is present in water already. They use the oxygen to decompose the organic wastes present in water. The amount of oxygen which bacteria use is known as biochemical oxygen demand BOD. As the Let's Talk publication 105 Ecology. Use of oxygen is increased in water, dissolved oxygen DO is decreased. Hence BOD 1. DO. BODO organic wastes. We can measure water pollution by the value of BOD, or we can say that biochemical oxygen demand is a parameter to measure water. Hence, DO. Hence BOD 1. DO. This layer Ecology 104 Let's Talk publication. 4.8. Biochemical oxygen demand B.0, D. Bacteria use the oxygen which is present in water already. They use the oxygen to decompose the organic wastes present in water. The amount of oxygen which bacteria use is known as biochemical oxygen demand BOD. As the Let's Talk publication 105 Ecology. Use of oxygen is increased in water, dissolved oxygen DO is decreased. Hence BOD 1. DO. BODO organic wastes. Hence we can measure water pollution by the value of BOD, or we can say that biochemical oxygen demand is a parameter to measure water pollution by organic wastes and decomposition. Chemical oxygen demand circa 0.0, D. Organic matter includes biodegradable and non-biodegradable things present in environment. The oxygen requirement by chemicals for oxidation of total organic matter in water is termed as C.0, D. C.0, D, greater than BOD, always. 4.9, biological magnification. Thesis: the process in which some non-degradable heavy metals or toxic or pesticides are involved in the food chain and taken up by the plants and then carnivores or animals and then top consumers. These substances like DDT, Al, Fe, HG, ABS, alkyl benzene sulfonate cannot be decomposed by plants, so it is only accumulated by organism, and its accumulation value always increased from lower trophic level to higher trophic level. DDT concentration starts from 0.003 ppm in water. It is increased in aquatic plants and then more increased in herbivores and then carnivores, and finally it can ultimately reach on 25 ppm in fish-eating birds through accumulation of toxics or biomagnification. Water. Produces planktons, small fish, large fish, fish-eating birds 0.003 ppm 0.03 ppm 0.3 ppm 3 ppm 10 ppm 25 ppm flowchart, biomagnification. Higher concentration of DDT disturbs calcium metabolism in birds, which causes thinning of eggshell, and this leads to premature breaking and eventually affects the bird population. This affects the whole aquatic ecosystem or food chain. 4.10. Eutrophication, if the process of nutrient enrichment of water causes the consequent loss of species diversity in that area, is termed as eutrophication. In this process, the nutrients in a lake are increased in drastic speed. This causes the successive growth of algal and organic loading. This causes reduction in oxygen content of water. Due to the decrease of oxygen, aquatic animals die and their population reaches at the lowest number, and in the end they are finished. The vast increase of algae in a lake is termed as algal bloom, and due to algal bloom the lake also starts to disappear and gradually island appears in the place of that lake. This phenomena is termed as aging of lake. Aging of lake may take place in 1,000 or crore of years. Lake, excess nutrients, algal, O, decrease, greater than aging of lake, death of lake, development of N, and P etc. Boom, animals death, land in the place of lake. Flow chart, eutrophication. India, most variable natural ecosystems is in India. One side's climate and environmental conditions are totally different from another side. Somewhere it is desert here India and somewhere ice falls here. India has 2.4% part of world's area. But it holds over 8% of the world's total diversity. India has 3 major ecosystems. 1. Terrestrial ecosystem. 2. Wetlands. 3. Aquatic ecosystem. Ecology 106 Let's Talk publication. Ecosystems in India. V versus V. 2. Terrestrial ecosystem. 2. Wetlands. 3. Aquatic ecosystem. V versus V. A. Grassland ecosystem. B. Forest ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem. Ocean water ecosystem. Tall grass prairies. 5.1. 5.1.1. 5.1.2. I. Savannas. I. Tropical rainforest. I. Tropical deciduous forest. Moist deciduous forests. E. Dry deciduous forests. E. Thorn and shrub forests. IV. Tidal forests. V. Mountain forests. V. Desert. V. Tundra. Arctic tundra. A. Arctic. B. Alpine. V. Taiga. Boreal forest. X. Chaparral. V. Flowchart. Ecosystem of India. Terrestrial ecosystem. A terrestrial ecosystem is an ecosystem found only on landforms, so it includes 100% of Earth's surface. The major terrestrial ecosystems of India are grassland ecosystem, tall grass prairies. The inclusive ecosystem of plants, animals and microorganisms in grass vegetation is termed as grassland ecosystem. E.g. prairies of western North America, the pampas of Argentina, the Russian states, velds of South Africa, pustas of Hungary, tussocks of New Zealand, the steppes of Asia. Grazing like elk, bison, wolves, prairie dogs, foxes, ferrets, birds of prey, grouse, reptiles and insect prairie dogs, a ground squirrel-like rodent considered to be a keystone species. Savanna. Savanna is one of the popular grassland woodland ecosystem. The trees do not make canopy. They allow light to reach the ground to support grasses. These are called as tropical grassland. Also, savanna has widely scattered trees or clumps of trees. Distribution areas of savanna are South American savanna, South American tropical forests, Guinean savanna. Savanna covers 20% of Earth's land area. Seasonal water availability has been found in the savanna, with the majority of rainfall confined to one season. Savanna are associated with several types of biomes and frequently in a transitional zone between forest and grassland. Forest. India is among the 10 topmost countries in the world, covering a little over 78 million hectares, 23.8% of country's geographical area by forests. The following types of vegetation and distributions are found in India. Let's Talk publication 107 Ecology. 5.1.2.1. 5.1.2.2. 5.1.2.3. 5.1.2.4. 5.1.2.5. 5.1.2.6. 5.1.2.7. Tropical rainforests. Tropical rainforests can be defined in 2 words, hot and wet. Mean temperatures exceed 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees F during all months of years. Average rainfall can exceed 1,000 cm. Tropical rainforests exhibit high levels of biodiversity. Tropical rainforests have been called the world's largest pharmacy, as over 1/4 of natural medicines have been discovered here. Tropical rainforests are called as lowland equatorial evergreen rainforest. E.g. Western India, western slopes of the Western Ghats, foothills of the Himalayas and in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The trees of these forests are oblas, mahogany, ebony, rosewood, saran, dalbergia sissu, sandalwood, santalum album. Trees are tall up to 60 meters and form a dense canopy overhead. Tropical deciduous forest. They are termed as monsoon forests also, as these forests are dominated by trees that lose their leaves each year. Warmth, moist summers and mild winter all are involved in these forests. They are important from economic point of view. They are subdivided into 2 types. I. Moist deciduous forests. E. Dry deciduous forests. Trees of these forests are teak, Tectona gratis, sal, Sharia robusta, sandalwood, santalum album, shisham, dalbergia sissu, hura, terminalia chibula, care, acacia catechu, bamboo and cane. These are into northeastern India, eastern slopes of the Western Ghats, the Eastern Ghats, Chota-Nagpur Plateau, Orissa, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, hills of East Rajasthan, western Madhya Pradesh and parts of central Deccan Plateau. Thorn and shrub forests. These includes the xeric shrubland ecoregion of India, southernmost Sri Lanka, Punjab plains in north, Rajasthan, UP, MP, Haryana and few parts of South India. Trees are kikar, babool, kher, acacia, munj and sawai grass present in these forests. Rainfall is less than 50 cms here. These forests consist of open woodland with thorny trees with short trunks, spiny and xerophytic shrubs and dry grassland. These are the habitat of great India bustard and blackbuck. Tidal forests. These forests are called as mangrove forests. Mangroves or shrubs are small trees that grow in coastal saline and brackish water. Mangroves are mainly located between latitudes 25 degrees north and 25 degrees south. The best example of mangrove tidal forest is Sundarbans. Sundarban is a well-known mangrove forest covering the Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta in West Bengal. Due to common tree, Sundari, it was given the name Sundarbans. Mountain forest. The Himalayas and Ghats are confined in these forests. These are the regions which includes lands in a scattered form. A large range of plants and animals are found in these forests. Sals, cax, chestnuts, apples, pine, cedar, spruce, silver fir, birches and junipers. Tropical or temperate forests, savanna, scrubland, desert or tundra are the continent of mountain forest. Desert. Desert is also known as the Great Indian Desert. It's a large arid region in the northwestern part of India. It forms a natural boundary between India and Pakistan. Desert lacks vegetation. Rainfall is usually less than 25 centimeters per year. Temperature gets extreme here whether it is cold or hot. Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab and Gujarat states are included in desert area of India. The soil of desert remains dry as water is vaporized due to extreme temperature at the daytime. Exotic trees like eucalyptus, acacia, cassia and other genera present in the desert. Arctic tundra. Tundra is a type of biome where the tree grows for a short season and maintained by low temperature vegetation like shrubs, mosses, lichens and sedges are included in the tundra region. The ecozone between the tundra and forest is known as the tree line or timberline. There are 3 types of tundra: 1. Arctic tundra, 2. Alpine tundra, 3. Antarctic tundra. 1. Arctic tundra. Arctic tundra involves in the last northern hemisphere. The soil of Arctic tundra in frozen form from 25 to 90 cm. Sows are found negligible here but animals like lemmings, voles, weasels, Arctic foxes, snowshoe hare, ptarmigan, showy owls and musk oxen etc. In bare or rocky area, some mosses or any low-growing plant can live or survive only. Otherwise it is impossible to grow in the frozen soil for any other plants. 2. Alpine tundra. Alpine tundra occurs in mountains and all over the world. The flora of alpine tundra are shrubs that are too dwarf close to the ground. Climate of alpine tundra like polar areas i.e. very low. Alpine soils are better drained than Arctic. Alpine tundra transitions to subalpine forests below the tree line. Stunted forests occurring Ecology 108 Let's Talk publication. 5.1.2.8 5.1.2.9 5.2 At the forest tundra ecozone are known as crumholes. The environment of tundra have permafrost water permanently frozen in the soil while liquid water is present for only short periods of year. 3. Antarctic tundra. This occurs in Antarctica and on several Antarctic and subantarctic islands, including South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands and the Kerguelen Island. Too cold and dry weather is seen in this type of tundra forest. Most of the region of Antarctic tundra is covered by ice. Somewhere its soil is rocky, then only it supports lichens. Liverworts, aquatic mosses, liverworts, aquatic algae, terrestrial desert. Desert is also known as the Great Indian Desert. It's a large arid region in the northwestern part of India. It forms a natural boundary between India